I'm always surprised to see how few people use child themes. To me, they're one of the killer features of WordPress. In this video, we'll take a look at what a child theme is, why you should use one, and how to create a child theme for the block theme we've been building in this series. To put it simply, a child theme is a theme that overrides the parent theme with whatever is in it. When you activate the child theme, you're telling WordPress to use that child's parent theme for anything that doesn't exist in the child. That means that if the child theme has a different archive template, it'll use that archive template from the child and get everything else from the parent. You see where I'm going with this? Using a child theme gives you the ability to create a single general purpose parent theme that has all the core functionality in it that you might want to use across several websites. To customize the individual look, feel, and features of each specific website, you just modify the child theme with only the changes that you need. Why not just make copies of the theme for each client? Think about this. Let's say you're a small agency with a few sites running from copies of your parent theme. As the months and years go by, you realize that you need to add or fix things in your theme. No big deal. You only have a few sites to update, so you go in and modify each theme with the changes. Now multiply that by 10, 20, or more sites, and you start to see the challenge. Rather than modifying a handful of sites, you now have dozens of sites all running completely different themes with God only knows what changes applied to them. The parent-child theme model eases this pain by letting you simply make your changes to the parent theme and push an update through your management system. The master themes all stay up to date without affecting anything that the child theme has overridden. And this model isn't unique to custom themes. This is the recommended way to use nearly every WordPress theme. Even themes that are built for page builders like Bricks or Elementor recommend using a child theme so that you can add custom functions, scripts, or CSS without needing to use a third-party plugin. Creating a child theme couldn't be easier either. Sure, you can use that Create Block Theme plugin that I showed you earlier, but that's pretty silly when all you need is a single file with two simple lines. So let's go ahead and open up our sample project and we'll create a child theme, and I'll show you how all this works. Here we are back in the demo website, and you can see that I have the BTFS demo theme activated. We also have 2024 theme installed but not activated. Nothing else has changed, as you can see on the front end. And just as a reminder, let's click through a few of the templates. So here's the front page template. This is our blog page articles template. Here's a blog article. Here's a page template. And here's a search result template. It's all pretty standard stuff. Now to create the child theme, all I do is come into our text editor, and I'm here in my WP Content Themes folder. We're going to create a new folder inside of here for that child theme. So we're going to call that BTFS child. And in there, we're going to create a style.css. Now, the only thing that you need in this style.css file are two things. You need the child theme name, and then you need the name of the directory that holds your parent theme. So the directory name of the parent goes into the template field, and the name of the child theme goes into the theme name field. Of course, you can add anything else to this theme as well. So just like we did with the regular theme, I can add in my author. My author URI requires at least all these things, but they're not necessary. All you need is the theme name and the template. We'll switch back to our site and refresh this page. Now you can see I have my BTFS child theme. We'll activate it. And now we're running the child theme. So if I needed to make changes to theme.json, for example, all I would need to do is come in and create a theme.json file and add in just the changes that we need made. Let's go ahead and do a demonstration of that now. So back in VS Code, we'll add a theme.json. And now that I have theme.json created, all I have to do is add in the things that I want to change. So for example, if I want to change the color palette, I just come in and I add version 2 schema. And this is just saying that, this is going to be a theme.json file. This change won't work without at least having version 2 in there. But then I need to go down and find the setting that I want to change. If the setting is an array, like palette, for example, then I need to replace the entire array, because if I were to just change one of these colors, it would only have this color in the new palette. So I have to put in the whole palette change here. So instead of using the blue that I had before for my primary color, I actually want to change that to a reddish color. So I'll save that. And now when I come over to a test page and I refresh that page, you'll see that I've got the reddish color and my color palette has been updated. Let's try an even easier example. Instead of changing an entire color palette, I'm just going to change the default font from System Font over to Georgia Serif. So I'm going to collapse Settings, then we'll add another section for Styles. And in there, we'll add my typography, font family, and I've changed that to Georgia Serif. And after refreshing, you can now see that their default font is no longer the system font, it's now a serif font. Now I want to take this one step further, and I want to add an admin style sheet that changes the admin bar to purple. So to do that, we need to come into our editor again, and this time we're going to create a functions.php file because we're going to have a function that tells it to load the style sheet. Then we'll create the style sheet. So let's add a functions.php. And in that functions, we're just going to add the function. And all that does is say that we're going to enqueue the style. This get style sheet directory URI tells it to pull the style sheet from the child theme. And then inside that child theme, it's going to be a subdirectory called CSS and then admin.css. Then after that, we say enqueue the style sheet. So we've got that in there. Now let's create our directory and our admin.css. And in that CSS file, we're just going to tell it to load the background color of purple for the WP admin bar ID. And again, we'll come back here and refresh. And now you can see that it's loaded purple. So as you can see, pretty much anything that we put in this child theme, whether it's a functions.php, a template file, a CSS file, even a theme.json, overrides whatever is in the parent theme. This is definitely a concept that you want to get familiar with and something that is going to be very, very useful as you're creating more and more sites. I know this was a quick video and I purposely created it that way because this is a standalone concept that's going to hold true no matter what you're doing with your themes. So whether you're watching the rest of this series, creating block themes, or doing anything else, learning about how child themes work is going to benefit you as somebody that's working with WordPress. That's all I have for now. I'll see you next time.